Rogers TV.
Good day. It's Tuesday, January the 14th. Christmas is 2 weeks behind us now, but winter is no further ahead. I looked out my window this morning and saw this tropical scene, and I went into my closet of a million hoodies and decided to wear this one today. I saw the Newfoundland and Labrador Snowmobile Federation, and I shed a little tear for everybody looking at their snowmobile in their shed with not even enough snow in their yard to get it out to their truck. So we're thinking about you guys. Of course, our economy here in Newfoundland does rely on a bit of snow in the winter time. So I know there's some happy people out there, but I think we're ready for the snow to come down because we need it. Anyway, hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas and are so far having a great new year. We've got a lovely episode for you today. We've got a guest joining us remotely to talk about digital literacy, and we've got an artist who's going to be joining us right in the studio, talk about her experiences in Corner Brook as well as an exciting new project she is working on. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. And our first guest is joining us virtually. We have Alison Howard, who we've spoke to before. Alison's from ABC Life Literacy Canada. And there's been a new study from Salesforce that has indicated that only 30% of Canadians right now are very prepared for the workforce in terms of their digital literacy. Digital literacy is a term that is, a definition is probably changing as rapidly as the various new technologies and things that are evolving around us. And so to unpack this a little bit more and to talk about the program, Connect for Learning, we are happy to welcome Alison Howard. Alison, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Now, you know, we live in a community where this subject is very relevant to a lot of folks. And right off the top, Alison, I'll just get you to sort of reiterate what is the definition of digital literacy, at least in the context of the conversation we're going to have today.
Digital literacy encompasses many things, but primarily it's looking at the ability to use digital technologies and resources with confidence. That includes the internet, hardware, and software.
Perfect. And so, you know, we all know how this has gone down. By the time a lot of these current contemporary tools of computing, word processing, websites and all that, by the time that came out, there was millions and millions of Canadians who were already in the workforce, who had already graduated school and they were already out there. Whereas people now in my generation were the first people to have the opportunity to learn these skills in the classroom, where we were introduced to typing and we were introduced to search engines, things like that. So we had that education. And of course, a lot of people simply did not have that. So, but I mean, nowadays, Alison, things are escalating so quickly in terms of the digital world, the amount of tools with AI and things like that. I mean, it's hard for almost anybody to keep up with what's happening. So where does ABC Life Literacy fit in the scheme of this? Like, what is it that you guys are really providing to the community?
Well, you're exactly right. Digital technologies are advancing so fast. It is a challenge for everyone to keep up. So ABC Life Literacy Canada offers a program, free resources for anyone looking to improve their digital literacy skills. The program is called ABC Connect for Learning, and we offer these free resources in a variety of formats, such as video lessons, online courses, or in-person workshops through our community partners.
And what are sort of like the costs associated with that, or what would people need in order to actually get rolling with a program like Connect for Learning?
Well, if you're going to access materials online from our free resources that we offer through our website, you would need access to a computer and to the internet. If you're accessing through one of our community partners in an online workshop, they may be able to provide those resources for you. Otherwise, the materials are free.
Awesome. So it's very accessible. And so what, in your opinion, what are sort of like the main areas where people are really struggling and where I guess a lack of digital literacy, that's 70% of Canadians who are not very prepared digitally. Where is that becoming the most painful for people, do you think, in their lives?
Well, for a lot of folks, they just need help getting started. As you mentioned, this is not necessarily something that everyone has the opportunity to pick up in school. And because technology is changing so fast, there's always new things to learn. And one of the biggest challenges for people in getting started is the fear of failure. I'm going to break it, or I don't know how to get started. So ABC Life Literacy Canada's Connect for Learning program offers that opportunity to get started. So, for example, some of the courses, topics that we offer are around learning new computer skills or using a smartphone or a tablet, staying safe online, using email or Google tools, communicating with others, using social networks, or finding a job.
These are all very relevant things, like, I don't know if people really realize how vulnerable sometimes they are by even just marching forth in, let's just say, social media, and just kind of being a citizen of the internet without that digital literacy. We've all had our great aunt who clicks on the obvious Facebook scam, and now her whole network is contaminated by, this situation. These things that to us are sometimes, especially younger people, might get frustrated with what they're seeing. Maybe some of the behavior that they see from even their own family of, oh, Mom, of course you don't open these emails, Mom, that's called a phishing scam. And your mom says, what, a phishing scam? I thought that happened down at the wharf. So like, maybe we can all, maybe it's for all of us really to, when we see these opportunities, to not be too critical and to be a little more open-minded, and maybe remember things like this. If you see somebody that's struggling, you see somebody who maybe needs that crash course on how to use their phone, it might not be you, it might be your parent. But so ABC Life Literacy is definitely a place I think I'm going to try to be mindful to start sending people towards. And most people are just finding you from your website?
Yes, and we do partner with community organizations across Canada to deliver in-person workshops using our materials. But you are right when you talk about scams and fraudulent behavior, because the proportion of Canadians right now experiencing cybersecurity incidents is increasing. And the most common incidents, as you mentioned, are about receiving unsolicited spam, receiving fraudulent content, being redirected to fraudulent websites for personal information, having a virus or malicious software installed, all these kinds of things. They happen to all of us all the time. They're a constant threat there that we need to guard against and make sure that everyone that we care about has these basic skills to cope.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's getting to a point in society where it actually does start to, what you do on your Facebook might actually affect me. What the links that you open in your home might affect other people in the home, in terms of their network security and things. So it does seem to be ramping up, Alison, and also the pitfalls are becoming more, like the scams are becoming more, I don't know what the word is, but more effective, more nuanced, more clever, So really everybody's got to be on their toes, even experienced, people with high levels of digital literacy. They shouldn't be too complacent with what's coming around the corner and how they need to be prepared for moving around on the internet, right? You touched on how sometimes you do in-person events. I think some have happened around the region in the past. Do you know, is there anything in the works in the future or throughout this year? Do you expect any in-person events in Western Newfoundland?
Well, don't have any scheduled right at the moment, but we do have groups who have run ABC workshops in the past. And if anyone's interested in hosting community partners, or if you're interested in learning about where there might be a workshop coming up close to you, you can certainly visit abcconnectforlearning.ca, contact us, and we'll hook you up.
Oh, yeah, that's a perfect response. And probably, is this the type of thing, like, is there ever opportunities for do groups like ABC ever integrate with like employers, with maybe people who have their own workforce and they recognize they have this issue?
We absolutely do. We also have many employers who host workshops and use ABC materials.
Okay, I think that's a pretty cool. Opportunity, really. Again, instantly, like, this light bulb just went off in my head of like 5 right now local businesses, who could probably really benefit, and also their entire team could benefit from some stuff like this.
Yes, and we know that employers are increasingly looking for that blend of business or soft skills with digital skills, especially for in-demand digital roles,
Yeah.
such as communications and interpersonal skills, the ability to work in teams and business acumen, which we also have programs for. Our Upskills for Work program offers a lot of these soft skills as well.
That's pretty handy. And like I know there's definitely a lot of also like seniors now who are considering getting back into the workforce, right? And there's a lot of talented, knowledgeable people out there that we could probably be engaging, but maybe they're a little bit intimidated of how things go now, right? So yeah, everything about this is awesome. When it comes to the companies, when you're working with businesses and stuff, I imagine it is more of a professional relationship, and there's probably, do they hire Life Literacy Canada, or how does that arrangement usually go if a company calls and they want your help?
Our materials are always free.
Wow.
With employer-hosted workshops, sometimes the employer organization will provide the trainer, and we do train the training for them, train the trainers so that we make sure that they're all set up and ready to go using the materials. Or occasionally we will also assist with facilitation of the actual workshop itself.
Awesome. Couldn't be any easier, really. And Alison, just on the last moments of our interview here, what do you think is, like, if we were to boil it down to one maybe particular area where you think, based on trends that you're seeing in the future and things, where you would say, you know, everybody should be paying the most attention in terms of their digital literacy? Is there any one particular area where you think that most people are really struggling, or what are your thoughts there?
Just the general idea that technology is always changing. There's nothing so constant as change, right? So the need to continue to polish your skills and to build that is always present. And it's important to remember that if you are just starting out, that you're not alone. Many people are in the same boat, but there are lots of free resources and experts out there who can assist you with developing those skills.
That sounds awesome, Alison. This was a great discussion, very, very insightful, and we'll absolutely be back to chat with you again soon.
Thank you so much.
That was Alison Howard from ABC Life Literacy. And listen, just remember this right now, takeaway. If you can think of somebody in your house or your family who needs a little bit of help on their phone or on their computer, send them to ABC Life Literacy. It's not going to cost anything, and you'll be happy you did. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our next interview, so stay tuned.
So why volunteer at Rogers TV? Well, it's fun, exciting, and challenging. You can develop practical, hands-on skills in TV production, make new friends, and have fun, all while giving back to your community. For a few hours a week, you can be part of a great team making great local television. Want to find out more? Get in touch with us at rogerstv.com. Make your mark and find a new passion as a Rogers TV volunteer.
And we're back, this time with a guest in studio that we're really excited to chat with. We heard there was some projects evolving around the city and a new character we wanted to bring into the West Talk cast. So here today, we've invited in Miss Erienne Rennick. Thanks for coming down today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, we heard that you were working on a project in town, a new gallery and coffee shop kind of vibe, and I do have some questions for you about that.
Yes.
But first, for the West Talk viewers, since it's your debut,
Yes.
can you
Hello,
tell us a
everybody.
little bit more about yourself and how you ended up here in Corner Brook?
Yeah, so I came to Corner Brook because, as most people who come to Corner Brook, I fell in love with this place when I first visited. In 2019, I came here with my mom. My stepdad is from Newfoundland originally, and we came for a visit, and the MFA program up at Grenfell was brand new then.
The Master of Fine Arts?
Yeah, Master of Fine Arts program. Sorry, I always short form it. It was new then, and we went for a tour. I met Cameron Forbes then, and it was really wonderful. She gave us a full tour of the campus, and they just had everything there, equipment-wise, that I could expand my artistic practice with.
Did you already have like a degree in visual arts or something like that? You mentioned this is a master's program, so what
Yeah.
was your background before that?
Yeah, I did my undergrad, my fine arts undergraduate degree at Waterloo Arts, or University of Waterloo.
Wow.
And it was just a really big place to live, and I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Baden, Ontario, which is outside of Waterloo, and
What's the population there, roughly?
when I was growing up, it was like 4,000.
Oh, very small.
Yeah, now it's probably over 10. It's expanded quite a bit, I would guess.
But even smaller than Corner Brook by population.
Much smaller than Corner Brook, yeah. So when I came here, it kind of really felt like home, and it was just in my heart, it felt like the right place to be. And I went through my master's program. I learned so much. I grew a lot. Like, I never thought that I would be able to use a computer as well as I do. Like, in the simplest way being said possible. Like, I know how to program SVG files, which a lot of people probably don't even know what that is, but it's basically a line drawing that you can put into a laser cutter and cut out whatever you want on any kind of material, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, really crazy stuff.
Interesting, actually, because every time I've ever tried to get like a t-shirt printed or some kind of merchandise made, they're like, hey, we need an SVG.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Canva doesn't do that for me. So,
right? Yeah, I know how to do that now.
Nice.
I've taught myself. So
Cool.
I actually just sent a piece to Melissa Tremblay. So that was nice. I hope I pronounced your last name right, Melissa.
You definitely did.
Okay, good.
So is that the type of things that in the master's program you learned how to go to that next level in terms of art, like with more technical skills and things?
Yeah, definitely. And part of the, I wouldn't call it the historical part, but the thinking part of it, the really learning who you are, that really helped me learn who I needed to speak for. And that was actually one of our lessons, was who are you and who should you speak for?
Right.
You know, so I've got ADHD. I have always wanted to touch things in the gallery. I've always wanted to make art that moved.
Yeah.
So then one of my other professors, Andrew Testa, he said, have you ever thought of making interactive art? And I was like, no, you want me to let people touch my art? Are you kidding me? And then I let it happen. I took off, and I was in CB Nui that year, and then the next year, and then I'm on the board of CB Nui actually right now, which I'm stepping down because I've got too much going on business-wise, and I need to focus my energy that way instead. But it's been like one thing after the other, but really what has been the most amazing thing is the arts community that I've become a part of, and all of the artists that I've become friends with. Like, I just didn't have that in Waterloo, and it's a huge population, and I think that's why it's just too big for me to even manage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't even know the University of Waterloo had an arts program. It's certainly not a community that I instantly think about art or fine art. When I think about it, I think about STEM and engineering and math, right? Especially with the university.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah, so going back to Corner Brook now, you finish how long was your program?
It's 2 years.
2 years. So you get this 2-year basically indoctrination into Corner Brook as well, right? You're thrown right in here.
Yeah.
And into the arts community. So after spending 2 years in Corner Brook, learning about Corner Brook, and equally importantly, getting to know the arts community, what are your kind of main takeaways? Like, what are your impressions of Corner Brook as an artistic place?
It is extremely artistic. Everywhere I go, everyone's got art on the walls. Everyone is promoting artistic endeavors all of the time.
Whether they realize it or not sometimes.
Whether they realize it or not sometimes, right? And I also see and have heard the need just for more spaces, for more of these opportunities, because in Newfoundland too, which you probably know this, we have the largest amount of artists per capita. Yeah. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And we have the Grenfell University, which is the arts campus of Newfoundland.
Yep.
It should be promoted more here. So it's like, let's do this thing. Let's try to do it. I've talked to so many students who are just looking for opportunities. Yeah. And I worked with Krista Hansen-Robichek up at the ACC last year, and with students looking for opportunities, and myself as well, just trying to find curatorial opportunities as I was working towards this endeavor and opening up my own gallery. I put on my own show with my own work, but then I sent out a message to the students and I said, who wants to begin a show? And within 5 days, I had like 20 students that were like, here, take my work. It was like really short notice. It was at the very end of the semester, but they came forward and we had an awesome show. It was really fantastic.
Wow.
So it's possible.
So there's something there.
There's something there.
And I'm not surprised to hear that basically one of your main takeaways after this experience in Corner Brook is that there's more artists than opportunities for artists to like present themselves and their work. And so I guess, you know, this is the segue for how you decided to just take the bull by the horns and try to create a space yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? So now I saw a video online, there's a GoFundMe campaign and you're doing everything possible to unlock a new basically gallery and cafe concept in Corner Brook.
Yep.
So, and I know you're at an early stage of that now, but also at the same time, it could come together pretty quick from here if the right things line up.
It would be really nice. Yeah, I would really love it.
So just give us the high level of what your vision is, first of all, for this space, which is already called the Painted Bean Gallery Cafe.
Yes. So at the Painted Bean Gallery Cafe, essentially we are creating a quaint sit-in retail gallery space. You can come and enjoy a little cup of tea, vintage teacups. We're going to be serving coffee through means of like French press and pour over, really sort of creating an experience. Since our idea has expanded, we are working on putting in a commercial kitchen, which will not only be used for us, but also members of the community, others who are working on creating their own sort of cooking businesses and endeavors, but don't have a legal space to do so and sell that food. They could come and rent out our space too and use it, or teach people cooking classes, things like that.
The culinary arts as well.
The culinary arts as well, because I do think that that is such an important thing. Like as an artist, I know I'm not a full one, but I like to call myself a homesteader. I garden. I try to grow as much as I can.
You like to make stuff for your own uses.
To make stuff for our own uses. We actually have ducks at our house now too.
Really?
I have been doing a pilot project with the city for a year and a half now, based on having ducks on our property.
Really?
So we get duck eggs every year. I built them a coop. I put a pond in at the beginning of this year.
Are you like the only person in Corner Brook with permission for a duck coop?
I think so, yeah. I know there's other people who do, I've heard through the grapevine. But yeah, because I just didn't know how to go about it. And coming from such a big place like Ontario, if anybody finds out you're doing anything wrong, they rip it out from under your feet. So I just want to go about things in the right way.
Right. And there's obviously now, unfortunately, a lot of bureaucracy and red tape and trying to get anything off the ground this day and age. Many levels of compliance you need to work your way through and all that kind of stuff, right? But in its essence, you're visualizing a space where that is both at the same time cafe and gallery, where I can go in there and just be immersed in this art. Whether I'm just there to enjoy the coffee or not, I'm immersed in art. And then also I can purchase that art,
that art.
Okay, cool.
You can take it with you that day. And so we're also hoping to include 4 studios to be able to rent to artists who are looking for spaces to work. And you know, some people don't have enough space in their house, understandable. Yeah. And we want to be able to offer artists like workshop opportunities. So having our main space, we can transform it into little pop-up workshops if you want to teach a paint night, or if you want to teach a ceramic night, or anything like that. Just drawing, like.
Love it.
Yeah. All of those opportunities that people are looking for, and we just need some more. We just need some more of it.
It sounds awesome. It checks a lot of boxes, and like in my head, I'm thinking about like somebody called me right now and said, "Hey, I'm in Corner Brook for an hour, and I want to pick up some art, some locally produced art. Where can I go and browse this?" I would be like kind of stuck, right? I would maybe have to send them to 4 or 5 places and hope that they have something there that's more than like a print.
Yeah.
So I think the need is definitely there. Erienne, we're in the final moment of our interview, and I just want to, I know you have this campaign running online where people who hear this and who are believing in what we're saying can even contribute to the GoFundMe maybe and sponsor a few dollars. And also I think, is it fair to say that if there's people who are listening to this and they maybe want to get more involved and they love what you're saying and maybe want to like invest on a higher level or support you on a higher level, is that something you're open to?
Absolutely, I would love it. Actually, a bigger sponsor that we are offering right now is for our studios. They're $1,000 each just to help us build our studios, but
Like a title sponsorship kind of thing?
title sponsorship, yeah.
Seems
so
like a good value.
you would get a sponsorship plaque,
Wow.
and we've also got a buy a brick reward too, which is $100, and you get a brick on our wall, and it'll help show the community your support. It could be your business, it could be your personal
I love
name,
that.
anything like that. And I've also decided that yes, unfortunately, this Kickstarter, it's a Kickstarter fundraiser. It ends Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, at midnight.
Is it possible to extend, or do you think you might pop up a new one, or maybe rejig after this experience, or what?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to keep fundraising. I do think that it is something important to do. I didn't think about enough or plan well enough at the time of year. I think is really what happened.
Yeah, fair enough, right? Tough time of year to be
Yeah.
getting donations now in the shadow of Christmas.
Right. I was just so excited to get
Yeah.
up and running. I've been working on it for like pretty much October.
Yeah,
so
you got to do what you got to do as well.
trying to get it going, and
Yeah.
then I was like, let's just do it. You
Yeah.
know, maybe people are feeling gracious, but
That does happen as well, and also,
Yeah.
you know, it's going into tax time, so people look for
Right?
those little tea for it, you know. Erienne, regardless of what happens, we want to stay in the loop with you, and so please keep us updated.
Perfect, I
And
will.
next time we have a milestone with the Paint to Bean Gallery, we'd love to have you back and share that, or any developments or any other community projects you're involved in. I think we'd love to get you back. So thanks so
Awesome.
much for taking the time today.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Thanks for watching, everyone.
And that was Erienne Rennick. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up this episode. So stay tuned.
So why volunteer at Rogers TV? Well, it's fun, exciting, and challenging. You can develop practical, hands-on skills in TV production, make new friends, and have fun, all while giving back to your community. For a few hours a week, you can be part of a great team making great local television. Want to find out more? Get in touch with us at rogerstv.com. Make your mark and find a new passion as a Rogers TV volunteer.
And that's it for today's episode. I want to thank our guest Alison Howard for joining us remotely to talk about digital literacy, very important in this community and all over our province, as well as Erienne Rennick. And you can keep an eye out for Erienne on social media and follow along as she endeavors to open up this wonderful new space in our community. That's it for today's episode. We'll be back next Tuesday with another West Talk. Have a good night.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media. You're watching Rogers TV.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts, a racist practice that may stop this Indigenous mother from going home with her newborn. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Where will you win?
The opening tip. We're here is Prince. This is Canada. The NBA title is yours.
As we welcome a new era. Where will you hear the story?
Right to the rim with a slam dunk.
Catch the highlights. Dive into tapes.
It spins.
Where will you be when? Right here. Raptors basketball. Nothing but Sportsnet.
You're watching Rogers TV.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. But because